welcome again to this channel where we have dedicated ourselves basically to deal with the issues concerning Africa, the African politics and what is going on in African nations. Because what we want is to communicate with you and to be able to share with you so you can understand what it is that is happening in Africa as a whole. Our vision is to see Africa rise again. When I say Africa rise again, it means that where we stand in comparison to other nations or continent, we have been left behind. And some of the reasons why we have left behind has already been talked about in this channel. If you want, please go and view the different videos that we posted in the past. What concerns me is basically to see the situation at the moment and what is happening in Niger. We can see that there has been a coup d'etat in that country. Yes, we know what is happening in that country at the moment. But what worries me is even to this point is to see how the Western Bloc, they're actually wanting to restore the ousted president who has been taken hostage. They want to put him back in his position as the president. And there is so much negotiations going on at the moment, but the military leadership that has taken over power in Niger is not wanting to step down. They think that the country is running into a lot of trouble and there are a lot of insecurity. And in order for that to cease, they have to seize power the way they did it by a coup d'etat. But what I'm saying here is, yes, we understand what is happening here because the Western Bloc is about to invade Niger so that they can basically go into fighting, and if need be, to go into war in order to release the president that has been taken captive. Now, we can understand that, yes, it is the approach that they are taking is somewhat good for that country because they have to install democracy. But yet on the military side, the soldiers that have taken over, yes, they are arguing, they say, look, the country is not run properly, then somebody needs to step up and also just own and take the responsibility to restore the country to what it should be. And now we understand, we know what's happened in Mali, we know what's happened in Burkina Faso, now we're now here in Niger. Now we don't know how it's gonna pan out, but what I see as dangerous move is the fact that if people allow the French to come and then support the Western Bloc or the Western Bloc in Africa to attack Niger because they don't like the military power that is installed right there, because they don't like France, they don't like French interference, they don't like French exercising the kind of power that they have been doing so. But I can tell that, you know, something is going on there. France would not just basically pack and leave. That's not how they do business, because if they leave, where are they going to get their natural resources for their where are they going to get the natural resources for their electricity? Do you know that France is actually banking on that country in order to keep running the, if you like, for their electricity? Now, you need to understand, much of the uranium basically comes from that country. And France is not about to relinquish that kind of authority that is had on it. And you can understand why. Because now, on the one hand, you have the military power that says, no, we're not going to let go. We're not going to let go. If you try, now already we understand that that Ibrahim, the guy who's taken over in Burkina Faso and Mali, they said if you attack them, then you attack all of us. So they're going to be a war between us and you guys. So can you understand why is the African children, African sons, why are they killing themselves? Why do they want to go into this war? Why do they want to see blood again in the streets in Niger? Why? Why? It's because there are some countries that are being manipulated as usual by some Western powers somewhere who want to seize back power in that country and then cause mayhem. You need to understand that some countries in the world, they only live and they only benefit from the war that happens in different nations around the world. Otherwise, there will never be a military industrial complex. Because this is where they get the money from. They have armament, they want to sell them. Now they want armament, they want to basically give them to different leaders and then cause troubles, and then you are indebted. As I'm speaking right now, I know that there are some countries that are just about waiting. They are looking for opportunity in order to cause this to turn out to be a war. Why? Why can we not at some stage say to ourselves, look, enough is enough. We have lost so many of our citizens. We have lost so many of our soldiers. And now Africa is not yet developed. Africa is not yet developed. We have to understand that we must do everything to stop what is happening right now in Niger. I can see the beginning of this, but you don't want to cause mayhem. You don't want to cause trouble again to a country that is already destituted, that the level of poverty is already high. But why do we want to go to war again? Why? Yes, I understand that there was an ultimatum that was given that unless they release the president who's now hostage, that they were going to attack. Yes, that ultimatum is already already passed. Now we are at a stage where the Western Bloc is not. They have already planned everything. They have already strategized how they're going to attack, and they're about to do it. But we don't want to see this happen. So I'm just basically hoping here that somehow something will happen in order to stop us from going to another war in Africa. We don't want wars in Africa. Who benefits from the wars that happens in Africa? It's not the Africans. No, it's the people that are supplying the armament. It's the people that are supplying the weapons. It's the people that are supplying the machine guns. It's the people that are ready to see bloodshed in Africa again. And we should not let us, as African, let us rise and work in unity. Let us rise and stand up for our continent and be able to deal and resolve conflict and issues peacefully. This is what we need. Otherwise, we'll just be fighting and fighting, and then we would not develop. Any sort of movement that we make towards progress is going to be hampered and hindered because of the conflict again. Because you're going to lose lives, you're going to lose resources, you're going to lose a lot of things in the process. But then what happens is that those who are looking for this as an opportunity to sell their weapons will now come to give us loans again, and then you're going to send so that they can control and then manipulate the situation and put in despots and teach or leaders that they want in power. And that's not right. That's not right. If you are listening to me, wherever you are, I'm saying this as African, we need to understand the time has come for us to work together. The time has come for us to put our differences aside. The time has come to work for the people. What about your people in that nation? You don't just want power for power's sake. You don't just want power for power's sake. No, look at the people, look at the next generation. If you keep on doing this, what is it that's going to happen to that generation? What is it that's going to happen to that generation? The nation is already impoverished. You try to make a small progress, and then suddenly something happens that knocks you about 10 steps back again. Why? Why can't we be smart enough to understand? Why can't we be thinking? Why can't we be sort of envisioning a better future and then a good... sometimes we have to understand, yes, I understand democracy, the way it is portrayed, the way it is outlived in Europe, maybe it will never work in African nations. Maybe not. You see, we have to understand that, there are steps that needs to be taken in order for us to arrive at the point where we can live our democracy the way it is. But let put it this way. The Western world, they will turn a blind eye. They would not point finger at any leader who is supplying them with what they're looking for, what they need. If you are for them, if you are working for them, if you are supporting their vision, if you are giving them what they're looking for, then whether you kill 1,000 or 100,000 people, they don't care. They turn a blind eye to it. But if you don't give them what they want, if you don't give them all you are against their wishes for that country, then they turn against you. Is this what is happening in Niger? Is this what is going on there? Because I can see, like I said, Okay, so if Russia, for example, comes into play, well, Russia wants to help the Africans so they can stand up for themselves. I mean, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. See what is happening in the DRC, in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We want to see leaders like, you know, the President Felix, who's actually there to support his own people. He's out there to fight so that the country can rise and to become independent and be able to meet its own needs. No, this is what we need to know and understand. The African leaders, you must learn to work together, learn to support each other. We don't want war in Africa. We don't want war in Africa. Stand against the French and their maneuver and any other power that is seeking to influence the outcome of these discussions. Please, please, let us all stand against this. Let us all say no to war in Africa. That is the main thing that is important for us, and I ask you to do so. We'll carry on talking and then sharing information about what is happening in Africa right here on this channel. If you like the content here, I want you to subscribe and then share this channel, and then gives us thumbs up so that we can produce more content, so we can exchange. Give me a comment, let me know what you think, what you have in mind, and then we can talk and develop the subject even more than what we have done right now. So I will come back to you again. Take care for now, but just be aware, keep an eye out on what is happening in Niger at the moment. Take care, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.